Welcome back. We're going to continue on with how we can do some amazing creativity in art and computer science. Today we're going to be taking a look at how we can be inspired from Bob Ross, the hero of the PBS art series of How to Paint with Bob Ross. It's a great show. You should watch it at least once or twice in your life. It's also just a lot of fun. And so Bob Ross, one of the things that I remember the most about watching him is that he had so much joy and fun in painting. It's like, oh, this is a lot of fun. And what you do and the way you practice with it, even if you make mistakes, it's still fun. And so this is a great way to practice with that using Swift and using drawing and creativity in a computer science area. So as you can see right here, I have a struct named Bob Ross view. It's a SwiftUI view, no biggie. And it has a Z stack inside there. I'm making a happy tree, and I'm telling it to stroke the green color and a line width of 10. And as you can see right here, I only have half a tree. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what's happening, and then we'll go through and actually do a little bit more work with this to give a full tree and then add a little bit of a special effect to this. So I have a struct happy tree. It still conforms to shape. So again, like whenever we're working with the shape thing, that means we have to have a method called path that returns a path instance. And so func path in rect cg rect returns a path. And so I now had a var xpos is rect.midx plus 3. And I'm going just a little bit past the middle so I can have, when I'm drawing with my nice line width right here, especially if 10 or bigger, it has a nice shape to it. You're not going to get a perfect exact thing if you're using this with smaller line widths, but it's just to make sure it looks really nice. And we'll talk about how we can make some fun stuff happen with that. The next one is y pause. It's my y position. And I'm going to say that to be rect.min y, so 0, plus 50.5. I'm going to go down just a smidge. I'm using 0.5 because, hey, why not? We've got that right there. I then, of course, because I'm working with path, I have to make a path variable. So I'm going to call this be left path because I'm drawing the left half of a tree. I know. My variable names are to die for. So the first thing I'm going to do is, what I did is I drew this out on paper and I planned this out like, hey, I'm going to figure out what the basic shape of the tree is. And I'm like, oh, I've got this spot right here. I'm going to go down and go over this much. I'm going to go over in a bit, then go down over a little bit further, then go in a bit, and then go down over a little bit further. And so I did that process right here, using that on this as a structure to get my idea of a nice, happy little tree. So my left path moves to the CG point at X pause, Y pause. So it gets me to start off right here at the top of my screen. I'm going to say my x positions go back equal 50. So minus equals 50. So let's take the original value and go back 50, because when I minus equals, I subtract from and store back in the original value. And my y pause adds 50, means I go down 50. So I'm going to go down and left 50 for this to make that happen. I'm going to then add a line to this spot right here because I just made a position value to that. Then my x pause, I'm going to add 30. So I'm going to go to the right. Whoop. And I'm going to take my x pause and y pause, adjust them by 70 and 100 respectively. And then I go whoop by adding a line to it. Then I'm going to add another line by going over here just a bit over. And then I'm going to say X pause, go down 100, and Y pause, go up 200. And I have that lovely long line right there. And then again, one more time, my X pause is going to go up 120 and add a line. And then my Y pause is going to go up 50, add a line. And then my X pause is set to the mid. My left path, add a line to that spot. And now I have this great half of a tree line. It's not quite a happy tree. So in order to do that, I have to make it so I can mirror that. I mean, I could manually go through and do these steps in reverse, doing the reverse math right there. No, we don't want to do that. We have this amazing power of doing some things to make things better. And we're going to use the computer, in this case, Swift and transformations, to make that happen for us. So as you can see right here, I have a commented outline where it says right path equal vertical mirror of left path in rect, and left path add path right path. And so I wrote a little helper method that can do a mirroring effect on that. So I'm going to go uncomment this out so we can see that it works really fast first. So uncomment that out, and boom, I go to preview. I now have a mirrored tree. I know, it's amazing. So let's go take a look and see what we have to do to make that happen. So I have my vertical mirror. As you can see, it's outside of the struct right here. And so for my vertical mirror, it takes a path parameter and a rect parameter. So it can say, hey, you're inside this rectangle, and this is the path we're working with. These are the parameters we need to make this happen. And this will work with any path I make. I know, it's amazing. And so what we have is, first thing we do is make a var called mirror. It's a path. We have to make sure we use a var because we're going to be changing it. We can't use a let for this. And then I'm going to say mirrored. I'm going to add this path, the original path that was supplied to it. So I'm going to send the information of the existing path to it. And remember, when we're dealing with structs, we get a copy of the value because structs give copies. And then I'm going to say mirrored is equal to mirrored applying a Cgi Fin Transform, passing it translation x of rect.origin x and y0. And this is going to make it so that no matter where I have this rect, now this current rect is the entire screen, so it's 0, 0 is the top corner right there, so it doesn't have any effect on this one. But if I wanted to apply a mirroring effect to somewhere else in my thing, this is how I can make that mirror have a proper effect inside that other shape, depending on where it is in its rectangle. And so the next line is applying a Cgi Fin Transform, and I'm passing it scale x -1 and y -1. Let's invert all the x values because we multiply by -1. Okay, cool. So that means I have instead of adding x, I'm going to subtract x. Oh, I know. Great stuff. And then we're going to apply a transform, shifting it by origin x and passing it width and origin. So I'm going to take it and shift it over to that direction. And my y, no change. This is 0. And that makes it so I now have a line that goes down like this, and the line goes all the way back up to that. So I have a mirror effect. And because I have that now, so it has it right there, it's just this great little thing. I have a cute little tree shape. It's a happy tree. And so Bob Ross would be really, really proud of us. So that's a great thing we can do. I can even apply a horizontal mirror if I want to do that right here. And so a horizontal mirror takes the same basic approach. The only difference if I'm doing a horizontal mirror is instead of having my translation x's be affecting the x value and the y being 0, I invert that. My x translation is 0, but my y is now off of the negative origin, and then my scale x is inverting x is 1 and y is -1, and then my final transform, I'm going to set my 0 on x, and my y will be the height and the origin added together. So it's an inverted effect. So if I want to do an origin like that, and so to do that right here, I can do a really quick demo. I'll just say let bottom path equal, and then horizontal mirror of, and then we'll do left path and in, and we're still using rect. Now, if this were all my thing, of course that'd be rectangle, but because it's already been done, the rect is the name that we're using inside all the stuff we're using inside SwiftUI, it's going to just be rect. So I'm just keeping that. And then I'll just do left path, dot add path, and I'll pass it bottom path. And now I hit preview, and I have a mirror effect of a mirrored tree on there. Upside down tree. Not quite the most helpful thing, but I can do that right there. So that's great and all, but we'll go ahead and take that off because we don't really need that. Because we don't need to have a bottom upside down tree inside our tree. But wait, there's more. Bob Ross is going to be extra happy with us because we're going to use a really amazing feature. One of the other things we can do inside Swift is not only can we have an outline of a tree right here, but I can also have a fill in the tree using the information that we've got with us. And so what we're going to do instead of having just a happy tree with a stroke of green and align with this, we're going to go ahead and we're going to fill our tree with a image. As you can see right here, when I simply just draw that happy tree, because that's a little bit of a shift right there, it gives a little bit of a gap because that +3 right here makes a little bit of a gap right there. That's no big deal. We can take care of that. What we're going to do instead is we're going to make this happy tree even better. So I have that little bit of error in there, but we're going to correct it by having an even better tree. And the way we're going to do this is make Bob Ross even happier because we're going to add a cool effect to this that I really think Bob Ross will be proud of. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to use a new we're using a feature of Swift called Image Paint. It allows us to fill a picture with a picture, or a shape with a picture, I should say. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're just going to do on here, we're going to do dot fill, and we're going to pass it an Image Paint. And inside the Image Paint, we pass it an image, and it's an image. And I've added an image already inside my XC assets file, and it's called small. And as you can see, it is the cute Bob Ross Deadpool Funko action. It's great. So you've got this cute little Bob Ross and Deadpool combination. It's a wonderful thing to make this happy tree. You can't really see the tree shape though, so let's go ahead and let's give it the outline that we know it loves and needs so we can actually tell it. So I'm going to go over here, I'm going to do dot overlay. I'm going to pass it a happy tree again. So we're going to make a brand new happy tree. And in this time, we're going to tell it to dot fill or dot stroke. And we'll still give it that same color dot green. Not geen, I can spell. And then the line width of 10, and boom, I now have a happy tree that pops. We've got Bob Ross Deadpool inside the tree painting to fill this. You can use any image you like. You can even change that image paint. It has an extra couple of parameters you can use to scale any large picture. I just happen to have a small one right here to make it really easy. But you can make it so any picture can be used to actually fill this. So if, like, say, for example, you're obsessed with plaid, you can paint with plaid images. It's great. You can have lots of fun, and you can do some amazing things. And so right here inside my Bob Ross view, I made my happy tree. I used the ability to mirror that, so I drew the left-hand path, and then rather than recalculating it again, I applied transformations to arrange it so it would draw the same right-hand path corresponding to that on the right-hand side. We then took that and we filled it with cute little Bob Ross Deadpools. And then finally, we overlaid the outline of our tree shape right on top of that. So we can do some really cool stuff. So again, we have a happy tree that conforms to the shape protocol. As you can see, I just figured out the basic math to make a quick drawing of that. I also had a vertical mirror method that does a mirrored path inside a rectangle. All it has to do is apply transformations of the origin, the scale, and then reset the origin to shift by the appropriate amount. And if I want to do a horizontal transformation, it's the same basic approach. Instead, though, I swap the X and Y values so the transformations happen on the opposite side of the mirror. And so we can have that happen with that. So we've got some great little opportunities to do some cool and fun things. You can take a look at this and have some fun, do some amazing projects. Thanks again and have a great day. Cheers.